What's up, you guys? Happy Sunday. Welcome back to Brunch with DESB.
Happy to be here.
So happy to be here this Sunday.
On these bar stools. And like the 7th different location that you've had in the past months, however many.
I know. Well, I was going to do the beanbag out there, but every time I've had to record, it's had to be like a little bit, like it's been loud or something, you know, so I've had to go in a room. So yeah, here we are in my 7th location in my 13th reason.
Yes.
Hope you guys are having a beautiful day. I'm not, because
you're very pregnant.
Yeah, today is probably the first day where I was really like,
okay,
I'm tired of this, which is funny because like just last week I told him that I was like, yeah, I've enjoyed this pregnancy.
And by last week, I mean Friday. So
when I recorded this was like last Wednesday.
Sure, but still, today is a Sunday.
Yeah, it's a week before this goes live, and I'm like, okay, this is fucking dumb.
She said this 2 days ago. Yes.
I know, but it's funny because I always disclaim. I say, hey, ask me again in 5 to 7 days, though. Probably gonna tell you something different. And so it's been 3 to 4 days, and I'm telling you something different. I'm just tired today. I'm tired, and I think I'm just the feeling of excitement and anxiousness is overweighing the gratefulness that I've had for 9 months.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I'm like, I'm over it. So if you're new here, for some reason, hi, this is Wyatt.
Hello.
Wyatt is my trustee, my husband.
Trustee, roommate, bestie.
Best
guy friend.
My bestest guy friend.
Thanks.
The first pick of my draft.
Nice. Okay.
I can't think off the top of my head right now of any other good
else.
ones. But wait, what's the person that takes over guarantor or something? Like if I die, my DOA or something,
Your
right?
Beneficiary.
My beneficiary.
This is my number one beneficiary.
Well, who's the person of attorney? My POA, my power of attorney.
There you go. Yep.
And the person in which also holds my life insurance policy with.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
So Wyatt's on here today. Today's podcast, honestly, all vibes first and foremost. Since we are recording early, I can't like speak on, current events or pop culture and stuff. So we're just kind of like vibing it out, which honestly sometimes are my favorite podcasts, especially when I don't want to be here and you're still like showing up. It's nice. It's more nice to just have conversation and pretend like as a listener, you're like eavesdropping. Yeah, sometimes I think that's more fun to just listen to other people talk.
Yeah. I mean,
that is a podcast,
we
but
could
you get it.
very well be taking a nap on the couch right now with the baby on her chest.
Yeah, while you're listening.
And yeah.
That's crazy.
That is weird.
I know. Like we said it at brunch today, it was like we're in the period of pregnancy where at the end it's like, okay, I could go tonight. I could go tomorrow. I could literally still go in 2 weeks.
How cool would it be if your water broke right here?
That would be the most. My podcast would blow up.
It would. You'd have to just stop it right there.
Yeah.
That'd be the end of the recording, and we'd just leave.
Not even. This would turn into a podcast vlog. Like we'd be like, "Let's go."
Here we go.
Just take the mics. You're coming with, bitch.
In the car. How's your contractions feeling?
Yeah, as I'm like screaming. Yeah, but we're just kind of living in this phase. So throughout the next couple weeks, hopefully we'll have some episodes pre-planned for you guys to still roll out. But in the event that we don't, just go back, listen to some old podcasts, catch up. There's quite a few good podcasts that I've ran through lately. And also, besides the current events, all my podcasts typically have a story around them to where, at the end, it's always like an applicable chat.
I don't even know what current events are really going on right now even.
Pop culture. Like there's always something. Someone's talking shit about someone. Someone got arrested,
E-news.
Something's going on. Yeah. Page 6.
Yep.
They're always finding the scandals.
Something.
I guess the only thing that I will bring up, and even though I know this is going to be like a week later, is just Taylor Swift posting Travis Kelce on her Instagram. That was just so cool. Sorry.
Awesome. This is so cool.
Can you just be excited for me?
For you?
No, we saw, obviously, Taylor's Eras Tour is over in London right now, which I'm also like, is this ever going to fucking end?
No. Why would it?
Like, why? She's just going to tour for the rest of her
Just make money. What else?
I know. It's crazy. She is killing it. But over in London, the Prince and what is it? Is that Prince William's, right? Prince William.
I don't know the royal.
I think
family.
Prince William is the one married to Princess Kate. Anyway,
couldn't tell you.
The Dutch and Duchess, whatever, were at the Eras Tour, and so Taylor Swift took a selfie with them, and Travis Kelce was in it, which is also crazy because, listen, Travis Kelce was kind of famous before. You know, he's an NFL player, I get it.
Yeah,
but to be the level of status to be meeting royal family, he was seen the other day at the Eras Tour hanging out with Tom Cruise. Like, that's a different level of football player. Because usually, tell me if I'm wrong, Wyatt, football players don't, like, get into A-list celebrity culture.
Only the...
Like the Tom Brady's. The Patrick Mahomes. Only,
like, the 0.5% of the 1%. You know? It's like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and it almost stops there. Mm-hmm. Kelce, obviously... going with Taylor Swift opens up, yes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, for
level,
you usually just don't get there. You kind of just stay rich and but you're in a different sector of
yeah, but you'd also be surprised when it comes to some NFL players. If you're in the 1% of like names that anybody would just be like, oh, it's
probably like NBA too. Like NBA players go to stuff.
You get involved in some stuff, like the Diddy parties.
I was going to say, like, the sex trafficking rings.
Literally, yes. The Diddy parties, that's like the NBA players, that's athletes. It's like you're mixing in with those people as rappers.
Right.
They're pretty damn connected, too, because at that point, it's just money.
Yeah.
It's just, if you're at a threshold of money and fame, you're involved.
It's so true.
In some way.
So true.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. Even Travis has to be sometimes taking a step back and like, holy fuck.
Hell yeah.
Like, that's surreal. Like, that's surreal.
Who's more handsome, Jason or Travis?
Oh my God, Travis.
Think so?
Wait, was that a real question?
Yeah. I legitimately think
there are Travis girls and Jason girls?
Oh, yes. I would be.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I would be curious to hear because the more I've seen Jason.
Oh, I mean, he's a cute, handsome guy, but he's the
big bear handsome guy.
He's
you know
like a burly protector. And like Travis is too. Travis is like a bulldog protector, like rawr.
Yeah.
But Jason's more like
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, like he gives me energy from like a big like furry animal, and then Travis gives me energy of just like a big dog.
What's the
like a dog in me.
What's that like? What's that dog that you see on like mountain rescues that had that like barrel and the classic red like medical cross thing around its neck for like avalanches? It's like some massive
like
dog.
A Rottweiler.
No, if people, it was like a cartoon. I can't even think of.
Oh my God! I just think of like a pit bull where it's like a meme where it's like that dog names you.
Yeah, but anyways, I was just curious because I feel like Jason is such a specific type that yes,
But if you're into him, you're like that is my guy.
By far, he's way more my speed than Travis. Fair. You know what I mean? Like I'd just be curious.
Travis is a different.
He's the tall, athletic, whole package. But again, if you have a type towards the bigger, burly guy, then I could see Jason being like way more attractive to people.
We'll have to ask the girls. Are you team Jason or Kelce?
I'm sure a lot.
Or team Jason or Kelce?
I'm sure a lot are Travis. I'm sure a lot of Travis.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking of this recently because somebody mentioned it, saying just like how handsome and way more attractive they think Jason is. And I never really thought of it that way. And then I was like, I could totally see that. He's a handsome dude.
Yeah. And his wife is so cute, and their kids are cute, and he just seems like a great dad.
They came out with a new beer brand. Did you see that? Garage beer.
No. Oh, funny.
Yeah, it's literally labeled garage beer.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They just launched that. There's a little pop culture, I guess.
That is cool, yeah. Pop culture, too, I did hear the story about, like, the Super Bowl ring being, like, misprinted.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah. They fucked up, like, the seed. This inside the ring, they had like the seeds of all the teams, and the Miami seed, they placed them higher than them or something. Like, so like they mixed it up anyway. And again, it's like a $40,000 ring, but on what's their podcast name? Heights. What's their podcast? Jason and Travis.
Why am I blanking?
I know. New Heights.
I was going to say Newer Heights, but New Heights. Yeah.
I guess they were talking about the ring, and Travis straight up was like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
you're not looking at that
cares?
Shit.
No. But that is a very expensive mistake. I will say that. Whoever fucked that up, that's still like a pretty big deal. So yeah, other pop culture. Look at us. We're getting into pop culture. We don't really have a lot of housekeeping things going on today.
Except for our own house that we have to keep.
Yeah, except for our own house. We're nesting, cleaning, putting things together, which has felt really nice. And it's nice to love a home where you go places, you're like, oh, that would be nice in our house.
Yeah.
And not that you act on it, but you're thinking of your home in a way that is like, oh, that would look nice in my home.
It's probably not new to some people, but it's very new to us.
It's new to us because we
never furnished a home that we've lived in.
No, all of our homes were like from the seller. We just kept their stuff.
Like what we could, and then, marketplace some other things, which is obviously fine, but we did it based on price, not at all looks.
Yeah, no.
It was just like, fill it,
It was not
so
artistic.
It was just gross. I mean, not even gross, but you get my point. Just kind of thrown together, really a home. Didn't really have much pride in it.
No love.
So it's nice to do that. The baby definitely got that
going. Definitely made us like, oop, we should probably do that. So the only thing really on the horizon is that as of today, yesterday, so the 29th, Petula Brights collection launched, which is super exciting because this was the first like real pop of color we've seen from Petula. And if you're a dedicated listener, I talk about Petula almost every episode. It's one of my favorite brands, hands down. And they finally have listened to our beck and call to add a little bit of spice. So I'm very excited. Petula Brights launched yesterday. Blue Raz, they have a cherry slush color, grape, like it just beautiful and in bear.
If you're listening to this too late, then you missed it probably.
Yes, but also Petula does a really good job of like having stock.
Actually having inventory.
Like honestly, like you don't have to necessarily fear.
I feel like that's just what I'm so used to anymore.
No, I know. Any brand it just sells out in minutes.
Gone. Yeah.
Which I get to an extent, but at some other extent, it becomes fucking annoying. Like Buff Bunny sells out within like 10 minutes of certain stuff and has for 7 years now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Paragon.
It's like, have some stuff.
Yeah. Dude. Paragon has been selling out in the first like hour. Like the pre-launch.
I get it, though. There's,
I get it too. There's growing pains. But, take a gamble, right? So yeah, very excited. Petula Brights. Use code DESB for 5% off. And yeah, that's like literally the only launch. Paragon isn't coming out. Well, as of now, I haven't gotten any details on Paragon. Honestly, I'm like, thank God. Like, take a second, evaluate your quality control. Think about some new color palettes so we're not shearing out. And like, let's restart this summer, Like, let's just get a good solid launch here. And well, last launch I really liked, I will say, but just let's take a second, take a little breather, think about it, reevaluate, and come back fresh. So that's really it. Wyatt, do you have any new announcements or?
No.
Yeah, no, we've been so pre-prepared that right now it's like I feel like we always have nothing because our schedule, we made it that way.
We're at that point, yeah.
Where it's like we purposely kind of have nothing going on.
We've got a lot out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, housekeeping. No, I got nothing.
Yeah,
literally nothing.
Me neither.
Because we're just on baby watch.
We're on baby watch.
That's it.
Yeah,
which is fun.
It is fun.
I haven't done that yet. So it'll be
We were like kind of on baby watch with Archie, knowing that he still could have came early.
So it took away a little bit.
It did. No, it did. I'm just saying, like, technically Archie could have came whenever, but knowing more so the date of our induction and also praying that we made it to that was more important. Yeah. So I feel like I didn't necessarily live every day like wondering if I was going into labor because I was just like, I have to make it here, period. Like, I have to.
Yeah. Well, true, because we had a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
Almost 3.
Yeah. So here we are, waiting for baby number 3. And we went and bought new board and diapers today, just so we had like some in the house.
Dude,
we literally didn't.
The size of my hand.
They're so tiny.
You forget. It's so crazy how small babies are.
I'm not ready to leave and then like come back to seeing how big our kids are.
Oh God.
Like I'm not ready for that emotion.
2 days later. Yeah,
like I'm not ready. Suck. I'm not ready because Maddox, I'm telling you, he will look 7 years old.
He already looks 7. He looked 7 like yesterday.
Yeah, like he will look 7 and Archie will look 4.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about how it's going to be a vacation, kind of?
Oh,
going to the hospital. Like for you to go give birth sounds fun. No.
To you.
That's my point though. It's like still though, like even you knowing that, oh fuck, I have to give birth. Well, at least I'm, you know,
oh my God, I get to just like sit in a bed
for 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, that's not terrible.
No, it's seriously so true. It reminds me of that scene off of Bad Moms. I think it's Bad Moms Christmas, where they're all sitting around the table and they're talking about like, sometimes I fantasize of like getting in a car accident and like going to the hospital and like having to stay there, or like breaking my leg to where I physically can't help, you know, like,
I know what you mean.
But it is true. It'll be nice. And I think as you have more kids, you also kind of respect that time that you have of like just you guys.
Yeah.
And really like soaking in like, wow, this is our new kid. And this is really the only time you'll be able to give it. It's like full attention.
The only thing that I guess not even housekeeping, but just something that's obviously been on our mind. I'm curious what other people are doing, but it's like if you have 3+ kids, even 4, what car do you have? For real. Like we have a Palisade and a Telluride. It's the same car. In and out. It's the exact same
They're
thing.
just like kissing cousins.
Yes, totally. But it's like we went to the store today. We put Maddox's car seat in the back row, laid down one seat, and then had Archie in the front, so the other captain chair, you know, in the passenger side, was empty. But even then,
that will be the car seat.
The car seat's going to go there. And it's like, if we didn't have that chair, we could not have even fit a haul of groceries. Granted, we got a lot of stuff because
it was a big haul.
We're kind of preparing to be sitting, right? And having stuff, not having to worry about going to get stuff. But even then, it's like, what car do you guys drive? Do you not have people like cousins or people that you're wanting to have? Like if you were to travel, like how do you fit stuff? I just don't understand how you can fit 3 car seats without a large SUV, like a suburban Cadillac. I mean, I just don't get it.
I think though, like for most people who have more than 3 kids, realistically, you are probably close to your village where needing to travel for most people, like if you have over 3 kids, you want to be by family. True. So I think statistically, if we think of like per capita families, they're probably close to those people who they need to be by, to where those people are able to like come over. You don't need to like carpool, etc. But when I guess we do have a little bit of
a travel life. No, we don't. But I guess
if you have over 3 kids, like I'm sorry, no one's driving. Like you have to drive separate.
Yeah, it's just
there's no, hey, can I ride with you? No,
maybe
like
that's
sorry,
it.
you
maybe
can't.
That's what the answer is for us. Is
but
that we just have to swallow
like,
that.
Sorry, like
we just can't. Nope. I gotta go. You gotta have
if
the
you
kid
want
and stay
to
home.
go. If you want to go with me, or you would like to come with or meet me and like let's all go to lunch. Sorry, like you have to drive yourself.
Yeah, it's weird. So I'm curious what you guys do about it, because that's the only thing that I'm struggling to wrap my head around. Is it just exactly what you said and you got to deal with it? It's just I think
plenty. No, I'm talking about other people. Like if Michaela was like, "Hey, can I come with you?" It's like no.
Oh.
I'm talking other people. I'm like no.
Yeah.
If you're
don't have room.
No, like literally no.
Yeah. So I'm just curious how you guys handle that, because we're running into that dilemma now of like, do we trade in our car?
Yeah.
One of them to get a bigger one.
I mean, here's the thing. Plenty of people make it work.
Oh, totally. But that's why I'm asking.
We know
I'm
we
trying
can
not
make it
to
work.
be like,
it's just like
have to get a new car. It's just like
I think when I put the car seats in, it was a real shocker though of like,
how are we gonna do this?
My car went from the biggest car I've had, you know, like my bigger car, to really tiny, and I was like, oh fuck, Maddox is gonna be in a car seat / booster seat for like car seat into booster seat even for another 4 to 5 years.
At
like,
least. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He's like 8.
So I'm like
7.
there's no, oh, well, we can bear it out for another year. You know, it's like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It was like a pretty serious realization of like, oh, well, fuck. So anyways, yeah, let us know. Sound off in the comments what cars you have, if you have.
Or how you handled it.
Yeah, or how you handled it.
Just so we can sift through what we have to change our
mom's over 3.
mindset on.
Maybe we just put one of them like on the top, or like get a hitch. And just make them ride sidecar.
Yeah, true. I mean, definitely. I mean, the next, I think, logical step is to get like a luggage carrier
Yeah.
So where if we do travel, we have more room in the luggage carrier on top. But that'd be my only next thought step without, thinking trade in or something.
No, I'm talking like we literally just put the kids.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying real world.
I was like,
what we do.
You know what I'm talking about. Well, I will say the one thing, a little catch up, is that I've said it for the past couple of episodes, just getting into some watches because we haven't really watched much lately. Like, have we at all?
VanderPump.
That's it. Like, we've on our VPR shit. I'm on my VPR shit.
I'm not going to lie.
I don't want to watch anything else. I don't even want to watch anything else.
I don't either. We get in bed at the end of the day and would just turn it on.
Like, it's like I'm ready.
I don't know what it is right now, but
it's just bingeable TV right now. Like, it's just mindless. You don't know. You can kind of be on your phone if you wanted to. You can be like thinking of other thoughts in your mind, but you can still be involved in a show.
You can miss half an episode and not be lost.
Yeah. Like it's just a good, like, oh shit, I got to switch the laundry. I'm not even going to push pause. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Right.
And then you come back.
Yeah.
So it's been so good. We are finally in season 7.
Almost 8.
Yeah.
We're towards the end of. You just hear
it was like
you go.
Half.
You just. Okay. Anyways, that's gross to just listen to. But yeah, we're almost on 8, probably realistically over halfway through 7. But yeah.
Well, I keep seeing.
I'm hooked.
I'm hooked too. And on YouTube TV, you can fucking fast forward through all those commercials. It's crazy. You can watch a full episode.
20 minutes.
Yeah. What the fuck?
25 minutes is the episode, and it says an hour on YouTube TV.
Or like 48 minutes or something. Like it's
No, it says every episode is an hour long.
Crazy.
And it's like maybe actually 20 to 30, maybe 30 at most.
The minute that commercial hits, I'm just.
Yep. But that's kind of nice because then we just drinking Vanderpump through a fire hose.
It's so easy. And I don't feel as like overwhelmed. I don't know. Just it's good for my season of life. I've talked about this before. It was almost it became like way too like annoying. So I was like, I'm just sick of seeing these like immature people at the time. But they're now like all of them are in relationships. It's still messy. It's still messy.
They're starting to go into their own little like
their endeavors,
path and endeavors of life. So
they're not so like influenced by each other. They're all kind of starting to set apart.
It's not a clique of young 20-year-olds of like Jesus Christ, it's like
they were never really young 20-year-olds is a weird thing. They were all already in their 30s.
Well, I mean, like Stassi was like 24 when the beginning of it,
True, yeah,
so,
but still, it's still kind of like
Jax was the old man always. So
old man Jax.
Yeah,
but yeah, we're excited. I keep seeing like the commercials in between for the current season. Like, hey, new episode tonight at 8. Whatever, and I'm just like, oh, I need to be there so bad because I want to watch not
That's
just
half of our drive.
It's like our drive, is to get to the new season. But also the Valley. I really want to get into the Valley because I really want to see, this sounds terrible, but I want to see the downfall of Brittany and Jax's marriage.
Yeah, because we just
knowing
witnessed
what he's already done.
We just witnessed like their big blow up, him cheating scandal before they even got engaged. And now they're engaged. So we're watching this of like, how in the hell did they get back together knowing that they're breaking up again? It's like, it's so sad to watch in real time.
It is sad because all of this is documented for them. Like it's forever there.
Yeah.
So even their current self, like, not that they would go back and watch old episodes, but anyone can. And like, it's just there.
They have to be millionaires to even look back and be like, it was worth it. Like if I wasn't a millionaire off of being a star in the show,
I mean, they gotta all be. They're doing fine.
They all have to be.
They're doing fine.
But you get my point, though. Like if you're not walking out of that show or any reality, like that level of reality of 11 seasons, if you're not walking out of there millionaires, it's not worth it.
I mean, they are. I think the relative most successful person to come out of that show right now are probably, I would argue, Tom and Tom, simply because Tom is still up and going. The business is booming. I'm sure they've renegotiated percentages.
They're doing
sure they're doing. So I think in relative economical standpoint, I bet you Tom and Tom are probably the best off right now.
Stassi's got to be up there.
Stassi, I would say, is third place. The second to first, I would even say right now, is Ariana Maddox, because when the whole Scandival thing happened, and again, I don't even know details of what happened, but she really came out on top, right? Because he fucked her over. Everyone, rooting for Ariana, whatever. She ended up being on like Dancing with the Stars. She is on Love Island now doing she's done other like gigs of hosting things. So in terms of reigniting her socialite energy, she's up there right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she has a podcast. Maybe she does. Sheena has a podcast too. I don't know. I bet they're all doing well, but if I would rank them, it'd be like Tom and Tom, probably Ariana, and then Stassi.
Yeah, I would agree.
And Stassi's probably doing the best overall, like
she just has the most
normal
like,
self. She is probably thriving the most.
I feel like she has the best personal brand besides obviously Tom and Tom, but yeah, I just feel like she has the best personal brand out there of just like she's so polarizing in herself and successful, kind of driven, funny, you know, good-looking woman, but it's like, I don't know, I feel like her personal brand and ability is way higher and always has been in these seasons.
You definitely love her or hate her. I love her.
I think she's hilarious. I told Des she's the type of crazy that she would be the fun person to have in your friend group that's like, yeah, she's crazy, but she's my crazy. You know, she's our crazy friend. Mm-hmm. You know, she would be that type of person. I told Des of just like, she would be so much fun to have in the friend group because she would just be so messy and funny to listen to.
She would also be the friend though that you're like, okay, I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm good.
Like I'm filled.
I had enough of you.
I'm fulfilled. Yeah. Like I would never say anything negative, but I'm gonna go ahead and go. You know, like we'll chat soon. So love being back on VPR. Also miss Lisa so much.
She's
love
so
her.
hot.
Love her. She is so gorgeous and just phenomenal. If she didn't have her accent, it wouldn't be the same. But
no,
we can.
Oh, and Ken, dude.
Ken's our guy.
Turned into just one of my favorite characters.
He's like, it's almost like he's a cameo.
Yeah.
Like he's not even a main character. He just has a cameo.
He just walks into the frame or he's in the background of frames sometimes just like.
Literally.
Just
or
stands
his
there,
arms crossed or his hands in his pocket.
Expression.
Or he's like
behind.
holding Jiggy.
Yep. And then she'll be like, get me a tea. And he'll just turn around, walk away.
It's so funny.
So
He is the guy. So yeah, back on VPR. And if you don't watch VPR, honestly, you should. It's just such a good mindless place to be.
Yeah, it's fun.
You deserve it, you know? Now that we have reached peak bullshitting, we'll go ahead and jump into our next segment that I wanted to talk about and kind of just parenting prep 101. Before we get into it, this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. I talk about BetterHelp a lot, seeing as it's benefited me ever since COVID hit. Most people think that in order to be in therapy or go to therapy, you have to be in this like unbearable state of mind or extremely depressed, when in reality, therapy is a tool to utilize before things get worse, help you avoid the lows, and honestly, even just celebrate the highs. BetterHelp is an online customized therapy program that offers video, phone chat, live chat, so you don't have to even see anyone on camera if you don't want to. You don't have to report to an office, and you could just be in the comfort of nursing your baby in maybe not the middle of the night, but nursing your baby in private and being able to have someone to talk to during it. It's very therapeutic, it's very customizable, and way more affordable than most in-person therapy. So you can get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. So give it a try. Use code DESB at checkout or go to betterhelp.com/DESB to get 10% off of your first month. I hope that you guys enjoy it just as much as I do. And honestly, sometimes even just a pop back in for a month here and there is very helpful in and of itself. I can't say that I've been on track for being in therapy for longer than 4 months in the past couple of years, just because life has gotten busy. But to have that to consistently go back to is really great, really convenient, and very affordable. So use BetterHelp code DESB for 10% off your first month. Parenting Prep 101 with Wyatt and Des. If I could reach my sound, I would do like a, or something like that.
Little transition.
It's okay. Just pretend. So Parenting Prep 101, I kind of just wanted to talk about the way that we're preparing to add a third, but also kind of reflecting back on how we, first became parents and then became like even second-time parents, and just kind of talking about the evolution of that. Because for us, it kind of happened fast. Some people, oddly enough, it happens faster. Like, isn't that weird to think about? Like, I feel like we went fast, but a lot of people, they do have like Irish twins, and then they have like another one a year after, and that's really like 3 under 3.
Which is scary.
It's crazy.
Dude, 2 under 2 was up there as probably the toughest thing you could do.
Yeah, that's other than Irish twins.
Sure,
Of
or
course,
twins in general.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Oof.
you know, everybody goes through their own shit. But from our experience,
2 under 2 is tough.
2 under 2 was tough.
Yeah.
Now that Maddox is acting 7, it's kind of fun.
So
and,
true.
and it's nice now that with the 3rd on the way, there's a little bit more peace knowing we have like a little bit more of a coherent child that can
like listen and
just
obey
listen,
and like
just
understand and support and
knows
help.
how to be quiet and help, and he's just going to be such a good big brother.
He
I just
is.
know it.
A
Archie's
good
going to
big
beat the
brother.
shit out of the baby. I could just
not on
imagine
purpose,
it.
but
Not
he's
out of
definitely going to
purpose,
be.
obviously.
He's definitely going to want to be so involved that it's like, hey, no.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the control.
He doesn't understand.
He'd walk up to the baby and like smack it just out of love,
instead of just like
Yeah.
touching it or
Yep,
something.
exactly.
So, Wyatt, what do you think was the hardest part about transitioning from 0 to 1?
Emotions for sure, and I don't want to call it anger, but I never knew what it meant to be overstimulated until we had the first child. Like for me, 1 to 2 was obviously the toughest because it was 2 under 2, but at the same time, I still had a little bit better control and
The tough
expectation.
things were different tough things.
Yes, because I didn't have to sift through how I'm feeling and am I connected to this baby? Like, why don't I feel as connected? Why do I flip and get upset so fast when like they're screaming and crying and I have to walk away? It's like that was the toughest thing for me, especially as the guy early on as the first, because guys and the babies, they don't really have much of a connection until that baby is able to interact and look at you and actually, function a little bit, knowing who you are, which is probably around the 8-month mark. 6 to 8,
6
probably
to 8 months. I think 6 to 8 months. You probably start to see some personality.
I would say that first at least 3 to 4 months is just like trying to find your way, especially as the first. It was just like, where do I fit into this? Doesn't even it's your kid, but it doesn't really feel like it as the guy. So the toughest thing for me was, again, just when things were going wrong, staying in the moment, knowing it's like, it's fine. You're stressed out. You're tired. It's emotional trying to deal with all this stuff. You haven't done it. I would say that was the toughest thing for me, was the emotional regulation of the first, because the amount of times that I've heard of people saying like, postpartum depression is one example, but without going down that road, it's just the idea of that first one being so triggering in a sense of like dealing with those emotions, people talking about how they have to set the baby down and walk away. And I'm just like, how can you act that way? It's just a baby. But then when you're in it, holy shit, that's when I'm like, oh, I get it. I know what you mean when you say you have to walk away, because you are so triggered and overstimulated that you literally feel like you want to throw the baby. And it sounds terrible, but it's like, it's genuinely what enters, and it's freaky. So I had to figure out how to deal with that, because I just never thought that was a thing. I thought that was more postpartum depression, more women. And it was just the guy walking in like, okay, I'll help out. But it's like the guys go through that in a sense. So yeah, I would say that's probably my biggest thing. My biggest transition is emotional regulation, of understanding this is your life. You got to kind of get used to it. But
also, just, you mentioned sleep, and it really, sleep can impact so many things in your life, just even from a health standpoint, right? So picture no sleep with like the new regulations of emotions, the new emotions between you and your
Very
partner, the new home that you're in, the new environment, the new dog, or whatever it might be. Like everything just feels so much more heightened, and it can feel you can feel so out of control, because every day,
that's probably the best way to put it.
Every day and hour can be so fucking different. Like you can have one really good day, and you're like, okay, wow, yesterday was great. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I did yesterday and try to mimic it. And then the baby is like, nope,
I'm going to do this
different.
today.
Yeah, like I'm
going to shit my pants 5 times a day, and they're all going to be blowouts instead.
It's just so, it's so hard.
But now, for you, I guess a good follow-up question to what you asked me, which was what? What was the biggest change?
The hardest thing between
what's the hardest thing that you envision for you from now 2 to 3? Because I would say generally with what I answered similar type stuff for you.
I feel like
right?
naturally, like the overstimulation. I mean, now you put 3 kids and a dog in a one space, and just like the TVs and the sounds. And I'm already like a very audio sensitive person. Like I've always been someone that I don't really like the loud, unless I'm at a concert. But like certain things just like all going at the same time can be a lot. So like thinking about visitors coming over and having the kids and then the dogs there, and then you have like doors opening and shutting, and then the kitchen, like the fridge was left over and so it starts beeping. Like just thinking about hearing all those things, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And so that's probably what I'm most nervous about, is just all of the stimulation and what I know it does to me mentally. But I think knowing that, I'm also better prepared to have that ability and the selfishness. I wouldn't even call it selfishness, more awareness of being able to say, hey, I'm going to take the baby and like, I'm going to go in our room.
I'm going to separate.
Give me 15.
Yeah.
I'll be back. Toodaloo,
Yeah.
Instead of feeling like I have to bear it out to like be this really like nice person and mom. It's like, it's okay for me to say, hey, I need to go protect my mental boundary right now. And I just need to like go decompress. I'm going to go nurse in here. I'm not going to do it around here. Blah, blah, blah.
That was me yesterday.
I think just having like that awareness will be more helpful, but also I think just the sleep and then being able to wake up and operate for the other 2 kids is what I'm also most nervous about. Just feeling that natural mom guilt. And I'm going to try to really wake up and like actively combat knowing, hey, this is just my season right now. It's not always going to be like this. And the boys literally probably won't remember.
No.
And just knowing, hey, if I need to be in the bedroom until 11 a.m. doing what I need to do, whatever, and I only see them an hour before their nap, or I don't get to play with them or something, it's like, this is okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm still a great mom. They know that I love them. They love me, whatever. But it's
and they're not going to be like, mom's leaving us alone.
Yeah.
It's,
it's just a natural reaction. And so it can be like one of those things you get scared about. But that's probably what I'm just most nervous about. Being like sleepy and then feeling like I still naturally want to juggle everything.
Yeah.
Naturally, I want to be able to still make sure the dishwasher's loaded and unloaded and the laundry's started. And then I'm playing with the kids. Like, it's just another, like, how am I going to do all that?
Yeah.
But you just do.
Yeah. It's a good answer.
Yeah. So in terms of then the parenting aspect of learning to, like, ask for help, when did you feel like you were finally able to help me? Because I feel like a lot of partners, that's where the big, like, resentment and struggle in a relationship begins, is that the mom wants the help but doesn't want to ask for it.
I would say it took me a minute.
Either they feel guilty, or number 2, in a mom's mind, they're like, how do you not just see what I need? So how can, as a male support system, how can maybe we as mom be better as like communicating that? You know what I mean? Without getting snappy, because, we're already like sleepy. It comes out wrong where you're like, can you just unload the dishwasher?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
how does it not turn into?
I don't know if you can avoid that. It's the worst part of that answer.
Well, is that the answer though? Like, I mean,
I don't know if you can avoid it. It's just,
I think you choose to work through it.
The only thing I can think of is, you choose to work through it, but it's just like, as long as you have a down period or at night kids are sleeping, it's like, listen, if you as the wife or mom, whatever, actually says, hey, even if we are in the wrong and you can tell that the guy or husband doesn't know what to do or doesn't know what they don't know, like I didn't know a lot with Maddox, is just saying like, hey, sorry for snapping or sorry for being so mean, but like, this is just what I need help with. It's like that alone is going to be nice for the guy to hear. Granted, they could be in the wrong for not helping, but if they don't know that and you're just only mad, they would love to have an apology, because also they're sitting here thinking like, okay, she's just being mean. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it sounds almost backwards. I'm sure there's people in here that like, I have to apologize. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. Trust me. But yeah, it goes a long way, because if you want your man to listen, start with that. And they're going to be like, huh, I knew it. Okay, babe. I'll listen.
Sometimes you just have to
It's so
swallow
weird
it.
how
It goes with any relationship, male or female or platonic, right? Like even just friends. Sometimes you have to just be like, hey, yeah, sorry, dude. And just, even if you don't mean it, it's just, let's move past this.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's what the other person needs to hear or how you can better communicate.
Yeah.
But I think also to, especially anyone entering parenthood or entering just even multiples, like, cause again, 0 to 2 was very different with needing support, like, you know, from Wyatt. And like, I definitely couldn't do it all by myself, you know, whatever. And some women do, some single moms do. And I pride you for that. But if you do have a partner and they're willing to help, it's like figuring out how they can help and figuring out how to navigate that is important.
Yeah. I would say the biggest thing dads can do, at least for me,
I'm going to take one of the fucking kids.
that's it. That
is
easiest
the
way
biggest
to do it.
thing. Like,
just leave mom with one kid. You know, it's like, that's it. That's the best thing
That
you
was-
can do, really.
yeah, I
is
forgot
like just
when-
separate it. Take a load off. And trust me, the biggest load is not a fucking doing laundry for you. It's taking a kid out of your way so
It's
that
so
you
true.
can
I
then
can
feel
then
like you
do
can
what I
function.
wanna do,
And
yeah.
I'm not saying so you can then go do my laundry, but you get my point.
I'm
It's
like-
just like, it's just like, you know, just take,
Yeah, but
that's
it's
the
not-
biggest load that a lot of times holds
Yeah.
you back or fucks you up in the mind in terms of emotions to be able to regulate because you have kids and a to-do list.
yeah.
It's like, take a kid off.
Take
Like
a
for
kid.
me, for example, for going into 3, I know exactly where my role is going to come in, and it's taking the 2 boys. It's letting you be a mom with the baby. You know what I
Even
mean?
just
Because,
taking them out of the house in the fucking backyard.
Well, that's
like,
what I'm
guys,
saying.
it doesn't have to be so crazy. You don't have to go take them to Sky Zone or
Yeah,
take them to a fucking
yeah.
movie or the
No, but
zoo.
that's exactly
like
what I'm
we're
saying.
talking just even out of the physical home, out of the space. Take them to the basement instead of the upstairs. Lock them in the basement with you for a minute.
Literally.
And you know, also here's the thing: as a mom, don't just like take the shortcut every time though either, and take them and just go like watch a movie downstairs, because that's also gonna piss the mom off too. Like, just don't. It's not always like just, oh well, screen time. Like maybe take them to the grocery store with you sometime.
Sure.
Maybe the way, whatever. I'm just throwing that out there because sometimes if you have an overstimulated mom, that will only make her more mad, knowing that you just took them somewhere to like then glaze their minds for an hour and a half.
Let's be honest, though, that sometimes that is what's called for.
The word sometimes is absolute. But if that's what you're doing, like repetitively, like, oh, I'll just take them and you just shove them downstairs.
And I get it. I don't want to have to do that all the time. And you obviously, as the parent, you want more out of your kids. You don't want to just, zombify them 24/7.
Right.
But if you did, why does that bother you? Because you want your kids to not do that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like I want them to be able to, like, if you're going to take them, like, let's go be active or go downstairs and make some memories with them, play with their Hot Wheels with them, put them, go to the park, or again, play outside, golf with them like you do, or like, hit balls. Like there's a lot of different ways to where mom can then also see you like taking that conscious step to also make some memories and like really form a relationship, which is hard to do already as a dad in those early years. So like take advantage of it when they start noticing that you're around. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So, and sometimes it's warranted. Like after this, I'm like, it's a rainy day. Let's just like get the kids up from the nap and fucking lay in bed.
And it's a Sunday.
It is what it is.
I just don't care.
It's totally fine. I'm not like anti-screen time, but there does come a point where it's like, let see the mom seeing you take that initiative too, to like, hey, let's go make a memory together, is like special too.
Yeah. Well, and plus we're a little unique because obviously we're both in the same house. So for us on a weekday, it's a lot tougher for us to connect with those that, maybe the mom is at home or full-time at home or works from home while the guy is gone.
Absolutely not ignorant to that.
Yeah. So the only thing I could think of,
maybe creating a weekend schedule, like creating a weekend schedule.
A weekend schedule. Dad takes the kids on the weekend, lets the baby be with the mom, or separate the 2 kids if you have 2 kids, or one, you take the 1 kid. But, if you're getting back from work, it's like, you want to relax.
Totally get it.
I remember going through that phase. It was very weird with Maddox of like,
you wanted to see him, but you were like,
I've been gone all day. I don't want to do anything. I get home. I have 4 hours to myself. And by myself, I mean, 4 hours to my family and myself. And it's like the last thing I want to do is sit for the next hour and a half doing dishes, cooking, whatever, or doing laundry if you have to do it, whatever. It's like, it's not always the most desirable thing. So laundry stacks up a little bit. So it's like, that's where it's maybe day-by-day basis. You know, you come back and you're like, hey, I got to get one thing done per night.
Yeah,
you know,
or again, like
house,
creating a schedule. Like, hey, every Wednesday
we do this.
Yeah, or you come home and you take the baby and I can do the housework. And then maybe on Thursdays you come home and then I get to go to the grocery store by myself. You know, like it's just creating those small things that allow you to have that breather of room, because I feel like I did so much specifically with Maddox. Like I had so much mom guilt. I had so much postpartum anxiety. To even fucking leave him for an hour, I felt so guilty. And I packed all of this like mental load on myself that I definitely didn't need, to where I barely got like my R&R by myself. R&R. And once I was able to do that with Archie, like even leaving him like more often, or hey, I'm going to go get my nails done, or I'm going to actually go to my hair appointment by myself, whatever. I became such a better mom.
Well, and you realize that you probably also noticed that I started to figure it out. It's like, oh.
Yeah, you sometimes got to
I just got to
throw them in the fire too. Yeah, like just figure it out. So
that's another good one. Is like, hey, moms, you'd be like, hey, you're watching the kids tonight. I need a fucking night off.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you really do just have to be saying it like that.
It's that simple. It really is. Des and I are kind of lucky in some ways to know that we're like, okay, you did this, I'll do this. You know, we kind of do that a lot of times, for the most part, at least, that, you know, without really talking about it. It's like, Des is extra tired and pregnant right now, obviously. So it's like, I take a lot of the load, or try to when I can, obviously, of putting them down or doing the bath, you know, because it's not really comfortable. Or she's extra tired tonight, I should probably do this. You know what I mean? Whatever that specific thing is. And
again, that does come with like experience.
Yeah.
The more that you just are a parent, the longer you're a parent, the more kids you have, whatever it might be, you just learn how each other work. But it is work. You know, you have to kind of go through it and again, like choose to grow through it, because it's definitely, you know, after you have kids, people say kids will never like save a marriage. Like they won't. It'll ruin it, or it'll make it better, but like a working better. But there are plenty of reasons why I totally see why people have kids, or especially as fast as we have, and they just separate, because it's fucking hard.
It's hard.
It's
because
fucking hard.
you lose very quickly.
You lose yourself.
You lose relationship status, and it
other.
turns into a partner relationship.
Yeah.
It turns into almost roommates to an extent, because you have almost no time and energy for each other.
Nonetheless,
so you
yourself.
have to make and we all know if you're not happy yourself, then it
it's just like,
else,
But yeah, it can be hard. I saw a post recently, like a lot of, there's so many good like mental health, like parent psychologists out there that do really like just really good content. I think it's so helpful for so many parents to normalize a lot of things. And one of them I saw, it was like, I don't call this the roommate stage. I call this like the teamwork stage, or like the teammate stage. Yeah. And it was like, it was just kind of going through a swipe where it's like, this isn't an excuse, but this is a season that if you choose to encounter, or if you choose to grow a family, it's a season of marriage, it's a season of teamwork, and it's a season of your relationship that you do choose to show up in differently. And it was just a really well-written post where it was like, again, there's no excuse of like certain things, right? You still have to like work on it, but it at least can kind of, it made it a lot more digestible to me of like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I would never want anyone else in my life besides Wyatt, but it's hard sometimes. Yeah. And that's okay. Like we've said it before. I fucking hate you sometimes. Well, you know, let's not go viral again. Jesus Christ. I hate you sometimes. You hate me sometimes, but also like I wouldn't want to hate anyone else.
Yeah. It's one of those things that Des and I always joke about. It's like, we all talk shit about each other. I don't care how close you are with your mom talks shit about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you talk shit about your mom.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't matter.
No,
it's just
it's
like,
not that deep.
Shit sucks sometimes. And plus, the funny thing is, I remember talking to, I can't remember who, it was another dad in my life, or you know, an uncle of mine, something like that, where, no, maybe it was a family friend, doesn't matter. They were talking and they're like, how old are your kids? And, you know, told them, and, you know, third's on the way, blah, blah, blah. And right away, and I've had this from multiple people, the immediate response is, you're in the trenches right now. You're going through it. You're like, they look back and they're like, don't worry, it gets a little easier.
Oh my God.
As they get older. But yeah, I mean, if you have kids under 5, 6, even. It's like
pre-kindergarten. You're in the trenches.
You're in the trenches. You are constantly being swarmed by different problems and issues and emotions and shit. So,
but you're also like in the trenches where if you choose with your partner to like fight through it and you get through it, when you're on that other side, number one, there's still beauty in the trench. There's still so much, like, seeing each other grow as parents, being parents, seeing your kids grow. Like, you don't want to wish away the trench.
No, you definitely don't.
You don't want to wish away the trench. But if you choose to fight through it and you choose to work through it and grow through it, when you're on that other side of the trench and you both are sitting with a fucking lawn chair watching your kids play shitty soccer, that's exactly what you did the 5 years for. You know what I mean? It might have been a hard 5 years. It might not have been the most picture perfect movie-esque 5 years, but you made it, and now you get to enjoy the next fucking 30. You know what I mean? Like it is hard.
I heard somebody say it this way, which is perfect, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's like you're drowning, but you can breathe underwater. It's like you are submerged underwater with that feeling of drowning, but you can breathe and you can see things in a different light that you've never seen them before. You know what I mean? It's like a beautiful,
like a medicinal trip.
Kind of, right? It's like,
I don't want to picture drowning. Maybe just like you can be my.
No, you're just drowning in emotions. You're drowning in responsibilities, kids, overstimulation, whatever the thing is, but you're like drowning in this like season of life. But at the same time, it's so beautiful because, again, like what you're saying, you're never going to have your kids young.
No.
Like, you're going to know your kids more in your life as adults than you will as children. So it's like you're drowning, but it's so beautiful in that moment. You know what I mean? It's really weird, but it's like,
I know it's such a weird conflicting emotion that even as a parent, you're like, I don't want to wish away, the newborn stage, right? Oh, I feel like a bad parent because I'm wishing away the toddler stage, whatever. And it's like, the feeling is so valid of like, oh, I just want this season over with. I want the baby to sleep through the night. I want you always want the next thing, but holding space for knowing underlying that, like, you actually don't want it to pass. You're gonna get through it, and you will. And like, even I think of the nights that Maddox was up, he fucking sucked at sleeping. I'll say that till the day I die. And I remember going up there, I was like 3 weeks pregnant, having to hold him, having to rock him back to bed. And now it's like, man, but those were like those moments with just him and I. And like one day he's going to put himself to bed, stuff like that, right? Or you're like, oh, I don't want to read to him tonight. And it's okay to make that decision sometimes. Like, it's okay. You don't have to live with resent. Yeah. Or you don't have to live with, what's the word? Regret. You don't have to live with regret of like, oh, that one night I didn't fucking read him a book. Like, we're fine. We're human. But to know in like totality.
Give it your best.
Give it your best and be like, wow, one day I won't have this. It really can put a really hard moment in perspective. Like Wyatt was, what was it? Oh, Maddox, this is so silly. And again, it's just parenting, but Maddox was like trying to pick which fucking car he wanted to take into Costco
today.
And he had 2 Hot Wheels, and Wyatt's like, okay, give him the choice. Would you like the white one or would you like the green one to take into Costco? And he's just sitting in the door. We're trying to get going. I mean, at least like, 10 to 15 seconds, right? Wyatt's like, hurry up. Like, okay, let's go. You're going to take the green one. We're going to take the green one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, let's go. And in that moment, I said something, which again, I was only just like playing around, but I'm like, just like, let him take the time, make those decisions. One day we're not going to see him pick which fucking Hot Wheel he wants to take into Costco.
It's 100% true.
And it wasn't like you're a bad dad. Don't fucking tell him that. It was just sometimes like, hey, we all need that perspective check of like, hey, just give him the extra second to sit in the fucking car door and just make that choice of which car he wants to take.
And let's be honest, you didn't even say it, but I literally slapped one out of his hands because I slapped it and I go, you're taking that one. Let's go.
You did.
It's like, and that's when she's like, Wyatt, let him pick.
It's okay.
And right away I'm like, I know. It's just I was in the go mode. Like, let's get out of the car. Let's go. We already went to Target. Now we're going to Costco. Yeah. I'm like, let's get in the car. Or let's get out of the car. Let's get in there and let's get out.
Yeah, and it's fine. Like, it's fine. Again, you're going to have those days where, like, you're not going to look back 5 years from now and be like, oh, I wish that one day in Costco, I just let him have that minute. Like, it's not how you operate, but it's those small things that can
And of course, the one I slapped out of his hands rolled across the car, and he decided that's the one he wanted to take. So it's just
just let him make the fucking decision.
The irony of that too, right? Like the one I slapped actually ended up taking more time because he put down the one he didn't want, and had to go get that one. And I'm like, God damn it, I'm sorry. But again,
gotta love him.
That's the emotional regulation of like trying to get stuff done. You got stuff you want to do. And then you have to control and sit there and stop and let your toddler decide on something that does not matter. Because guess what? We got into Costco. He dropped it in the cart.
Oh, within
2 minutes, also, and they never wanted it again.
Well, also, I think we even lost one of their cars. I don't even know where the other one went.
No, I found it.
Okay.
Yeah. But still, it's just like that's the perfect example of just bullshit that you have to stop and like, oh, okay, what am I in a rush for?
Yeah.
There's nothing going on. I just wanted to get in and out. So now I'm taking it out, if you want to call it, on my kid, just trying to decide on the Hot Wheels.
Yeah, but poor fucking 3-year-old's trying to figure out his favorite Hot Wheels, and we're being assholes.
I know, but that's the exact perfect dumb example of like, you just got to slow down sometimes.
Yeah. I can't say I'm still always a work in progress of just learning to be more go with the flow. Let me tell you that. But
I know.
But I have been so much better in the past couple of years. Nonetheless, I would even argue with this pregnancy of just like, it is what it is. I'll figure it out. Like, it's fine. And it doesn't need to be perfect, but the kids will always teach you something about yourself. And I think that's the coolest part about growing with them and seeing them continue to grow is like, what are they going to teach me next? And like, who are they going to continue to evolve me into? Yeah.
And then like Maddox also today going down for a nap. He went to bed, went up to nap as I'm unloading the car, and he
totally outed you.
Yeah,
he's like, Daddy made me sad.
Yeah, is Daddy gonna come up here and apologize? Is what he told her.
I was like, well, what happened? He's like, Daddy made me sad downstairs.
And mind you, here's what happened. We're coming in. He was, it was like his eyelids had like 50-pound anvils attached to them. He could not keep them open, and we were 2 minutes from home, and it's right at nap time. So I'm like, hey, stay up. We unload the car, whatever. Des puts Archie down. Maddox is still running around. And then she finally comes down to get him. She's trying to call him upstairs. And I'm talking to him. And I'm like, hey, he's laying on the ground messing with like a little whiteboard thing. And I'm like, hey, get up. Mommy's calling you. And he is so obviously like he's intentionally not listening. And you can tell at this stage what we've been working with on him that we're trying to get listening and through his head. So he just would not listen. So I'm like, you're not listening on purpose. So I grabbed him. I stood him up. I took the whiteboard out of his hand. I said, you need to go upstairs. And he goes, oh, and then goes upstairs and then tells her that I made him sad. It's
and
just
then he's like, is Daddy going to come up and apologize to me? I was like, yeah.
And it's like, dude, come on.
They learn and then they teach you too.
Exactly.
Again, when you're just like, okay, how can I maybe handle that better next time?
Right.
Or even just, was that an appropriate response? And he also needs to learn that that's okay. It's right. Just always so teaching. I don't know. Kids are just the best. I understand, and I will always preface this. I understand people who choose to be childless. I understand people who also maybe aren't in a place to have children, and like then decide, against it. But man, having kids is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Like it's the bestest, hardest thing
You're
that you
drowning,
could want to do.
but you can breathe,
It's the best swirly ever.
Yeah. It's chaos, but yeah, you can't trade it.
No.
And I'm sure any parent out there obviously gets.
Yeah. Like agree. if you would like look at me right now and be like, hey, do you want to go back and, hey, given what you know now, just about life, what your life could look like, what you're going to do, who you're going to be, would you go back and start over at, 21, right? Like, no. Like there's I would never,
shot.
ever give up the family I have right now, ever.
No, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, but
it is.
At the same time though, you still, as much as you don't want to wish away time, it's like when you're in it, it's just funny how it works. It's like, I would never go back, but it's like, I would like to see what they're like at 7. But it's like, no, I don't.
No, I don't.
You want to be right where you're at.
Yeah,
all the time.
I have really tried to reframe that mindset for me of just like truly being so present in where I'm at. I can understand sometimes I'll look forward maybe a couple months, hey, I wonder what we're going to do in August, whatever. But I really, really try to refrain from thinking so far forward because I'm just like, it'll be here before we fucking know it.
Yeah.
And it's like literally going to devastate me. Like I even sometimes will get caught up in thinking about like Maddox going to preschool or even graduating.
I think that's the scariest part for me. Now that you put it that way, the scariest thing I've thought of recently is people, everybody loves to tell you as, grandparents or, your parents, that age group, they love to say, oh, time goes fast. They're going to be graduating college before you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, first of all, I know, like, I don't need you to keep reminding me this. I understand.
Yeah.
But the worst part, I think, of all of that is how quickly you realize time goes because you have a visual representation of how fast time is going with a kid. And so that's caused me to now hear like Jax on Vanderpump Rules. He's turning 40. I looked at Des, I'm like, damn, we're almost 30. And then I realized he's almost 40. I'm like, dude, we're going to be fucking 40 in a week. Like that's where it gets freaky, is like that visual representation of time where you're like, I already have almost a 4-year-old. We almost have 3 kids already. We started doing this at what, 24, 25, and now we're already almost 30. It's like, holy shit. I'm already 55, and it's like, that's the scary part. It's like almost, maybe it's quarter life crisis. I don't know what you want to call it, midlife crisis. But like that is something that's made me think of like, I'm going to be older quick. Like we're on the way. And the thing
is like, I feel like as you have children, you also you stop seeing yourself age. Like you stop seeing aging in yourself because you're so focused on them.
Yeah.
And it's like, before you know it, you also look up, you've aged. And then you look at your parents, they've aged.
Yeah.
And everything just becomes so scary, and you can spiral so fast. And I don't want to talk about it because honestly, I hate thinking about it, but it is just, this is why you need therapy. When you become a parent, because it is just it makes you look so deeply inside and like look at even the rest of your life in such a different timeline.
It's so funny. It's like life goes so fast, but at the same time, it ironically slows it down. If you choose to have it slow you down, but
you know what I mean?
Not slows you down like physically or in your life.
I'm saying like being present.
Yeah, right.
If you choose though to have that mindset,
yeah, right.
I would argue some parents, we always just kind of live with that. Oh shit, how are we going to do it in 10 months? How am I going to do it next year? How am I going to get them all to school? How am I going to? It's like, just don't live in that. Yeah, because it will make it go so fast. So just, if you want to think a few months, oh fuck, how are we going to go to the fair? How are we all going to fit in the car to the fair? Like whatever. Right. But I think that's where I've like tried to just eliminate all of my anxieties, which in turn has held me more present, is like, don't think about how I'm going to get all the kids to soccer practice yet. Don't think about how I'm going to make it to every flag football game. Don't worry about how I'm going to keep my business going and be a good mom. Like, just don't think about it, because you're just going to end up doing it. You're just going to end up doing it, and you're going to figure it out. Yeah. And it doesn't mean won't enter your mind sometimes, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
What would be your final closing advice to anyone becoming a parent, being a parent, or just in general? What would be your top tip for, let's just call it like dads, I guess, period?
It's pretty tough because obviously situations can influence a lot of what I would give as tips or thoughts. Because in our position, my biggest fear is being something for my kids. You know what I mean? It's like being a former athlete, for example. I see dads with their kids being able to take them onto like a football field and show them and celebrate with them, showing them like, this is the life that I have or I've made. Like look at what I'm proud of, what I'm doing. You know what I mean? That's probably the scariest thing I think of. I'd say currently is like, I want something that my kids are proud of me for. Does that make sense? Like, that's probably a tough battle that I have right now. So it kind of, I guess if I had to give advice for that, it's just more so, I would guess for me, is to just show up or show them. I don't even know, honestly, because that's not even a tip or advice. That's just I guess what my worry would be is just, again, having them prideful in what I'm doing, or showing them or instilling in them values and work ethic, for example, or XYZ through the eyes of their dad also. Because obviously each parent can give the same trait or teach the same lesson, because the parents could be on the same page of what it means to work hard. But you also selfishly and individually want to provide that in a real world sense, or be an educator in some way. So for me, that's, I would say, my biggest worry. How to get over that, couldn't tell you. But my advice, I guess, would be just kind of what we've talked about, is like day by day. Like, what do you want to be to your kids? It's almost like setting a goal and working backwards. You know, what do you want to be for your kids? Okay, once you've labeled that, okay, how do you get there? You know what I mean? Like, that's probably my biggest worry / advice thing that I'm trying to work through even myself, because I know what I want to do. I know what I can do, but I want to be able to show my kids my pride in how I got there, or them to enjoy what I do. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? As you're yawning? Because it's like, you know, not every dad has the sexiest thing in the world going on, but it's like you still want them to look at you as like, that's my dad, you know?
Yeah, but I think that is kind of imposter syndrome. So I think any kid would look at their dad, no matter what they do, and be like, that's my dad. Like, I think that's a parent thing of just overthinking. Kind of like mom guilt. It's just dad guilt, right? Where it's like, at the end of the day, you could work anywhere, and your kids will be like, oh my God, that is so cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sure. So I think it's more of that's more of like a self thing. But to then piggyback off of what else you're saying, maybe I think a good way to say it is like, who can you be for your kids today? And ask yourself that every day. You know, don't think about 10 years in the future. Don't think about what promotion you want to get. Don't think about the next job you want to get or whatever. It's, how can I just be the best for my kids today? What can I teach them today? What can I show them today? And maybe one day that's, you know, even just you organizing something or putting something away or doing the dishes. Again, you're showing them something. And then maybe the next day you're taking them golfing. You know, you're showing them something. Don't try not to compound it in like such a sense of. Are
you my therapist?
I mean, I could be one. Maybe it's not the sense of like where you want to be in 10 years, but if you want to show them also how you're going to get there, or how you're going to get that future promotion, or you're going to get that new job, then how are you going to show them your work ethic in today?
Yeah.
Today only.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be a good advice, would be just show up for your kids in that day.
Yeah. Who do you want to be to
that
them? Day? Who do you want to be to them? You know?
That day.
Yeah.
And then ask yourself that every day. So again, don't think of it in total, because that's where stress comes in, is where you think of like, fuck, how am I going to keep doing this for 10 years, 18 years, 25 years?
Yeah.
It's like, no, just how am I going to do it today? What am I going to do tomorrow? Yeah. You know, and just do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about all I got. What about you? Is that yours? You kind of piggybacking a little bit to help me out? A
little bit. Biggest advice.
We've covered a handful.
We did. I mean, yeah, I think the biggest.
We should get
the biggest theme here was just.
We should get people to submit parent questions.
Yeah, that'd be a good postpartum one, or like postpartum support and like, parent questions.
Hey, I'm struggling with this, or XYZ, or I'm struggling with this physically, emotionally, with my partner. I'm thinking about this. How do I not? You know, it's like, why is this making me mad? Or why can't I get out of this routine?
Or how do I ask him to do this? How do I ask her to understand this?
Yeah,
you know?
Whatever it is. I think that would be good.
I'll make a Google form, anonymous Google form. So you can submit your parenting /mom/dad questions or advice that you need.
Yeah. Because again, this is funny. But
we're not perfect, but don't we all wish we had more parent friends to even just bounce ideas off of and just hear from? I was
just about to say, it's like, as much as we don't view ourselves as like having it all
together.
Oh, hell
no, we're not gurus.
No, but at the same time, it's like, that's my point. Is like, but at the same time, we're young adults with 3 kids. Like, we have experiences that not a large majority of our percentage of our age has. And they're going to be stepping into this, starting to, if not just in the beginning of it, you know, now for the next couple years. So it's like, we do have a good amount to share. We've lived through some crazy life experiences.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
And I love oversharing. So like this is right up my alley.
Oh, fucking you're talking to Mr. Overshare.
Yeah, I know. That's probably why we vibe so much. We just
Right.
overshare. Yeah, that I guess my closing remark would just be enjoy the season wherever you're at. You know, you can always, I promise you can always lose the weight. I promise you can always make the food. You can always do the laundry. You can always vacuum the floors. Like you can just enjoy whatever's in front of you though.
Sometimes do it when it works.
Yeah.
Not force it.
Yeah. You just got to visit it when you can and relinquish the idea of a consistent schedule
or perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy the uncontrollable. Like learn to live comfortably in the uncomfortable. That is parenting. Like being
100%
comfortable while being the most uncomfortable is being a parent.
Mentally and physically.
Mentally and physically.
Very tough to navigate.
And just know that it is hard for a reason. You know, like we're raising the next generation. We're raising people that we want to see flourish in society and, you know,
want them to be desirable to society, you know?
Yeah, we want them to contribute. We want them to make a change. We want them to be a part of a change. We want them to be a voice, you know, for whatever cause, you know, stuff like that. It's like you're really a part of growing something very important.
And so that goes back to, I guess my advice is, how do you show that?
Yeah.
So that's good. No, that's good. That's a good wrap up.
Just every day. How do I make that happen today?
And how do I accept, like, what was my trigger today and how do I accept it and learn from it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because it'll happen again.
It will happen again. So, well, cheers to this potentially being the last recording, maybe, of us before we have 3. And I'm like baby wearing while we're like doing a podcast.
Wow.
I like that laugh.
I just can't believe we're having a 3rd.
I know. It has felt a little bit disconnected just because we don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's been out of sight, out of mind for me, especially. Obviously, I'm not the one carrying the baby, so it's pretty easy for me to.
It's been out of sight, out of mind. My back's felt great, so.
No, but yeah, it is weird. It's hit me probably the most in this past week, of like, oh shit, like it's coming. Like the baby's going to be sleeping at 6 a.m. and Maddox, for whatever reason, is going to just come in and wake up the baby, and we just fell asleep an hour ago. And it's going to piss us off. And it's like, here comes everything we just said.
Here comes the new lessons in our life.
Everything we just said, we're going to have to listen to again.
I know. Can't wait to listen this. Can't wait to stream this podcast next week.
For real. We're going to have to go to sleep to this. No, for real though.
You mind if I put on some white noise? Hey guys, welcome back to Brunch with DESB.
There you go. And that's Brunch with DESB.
Thank you guys for hanging out. We will see you next Sunday. Whether it's a pre-recorded episode, new episode, we'll see, but we'll be showing up for you somehow.
See ya.